It was meant to be the evening that would crystallize our love story. 15 years of woven destinies, battles that melted into passionate reconciliations, hollow spaces transformed into our sanctuary. I had reserved the identical rooftop where I first claimed her heart. Private chef, her cherished violinist, candlelight dancing across crystal. But she was delayed. 1 hour, then 2. When she finally materialized, everything I believed shattered like fragile glass. She refused to meet my gaze, offered no explanation, simply collapsed into her seat and hurled her purse onto the adjacent chair like she commanded the very atmosphere. Her fragrance was overwhelming, suffocating, as though she were concealing secrets. Her lipstick was pristine, suspiciously fresh. "Apologize, encountered someone along the way," she declared, smirking as if this were casual brunch, not our sacred anniversary. Her device pulsed 3 times within seconds. She flipped it face down, but not before I glimpsed the contact. Chase. The identical Chase from her marketing agency, the same Chase she swore had vanished from memory. "You neglected to mention bringing your device to dinner," I murmured, venom seeping through my controlled tone. "This isn't the Stone Age, Kyle. Should I abandon it in the vehicle like some rebellious teenager?" Her words dripped acid, delivered with that mocking laugh she'd weaponized to perfection. I should have departed instantly, should have risen, and disappeared. But men like me, we endure. We wait for evidence like desperate souls chasing phantoms in burning buildings. I nodded, smiled, and toasted to fresh beginnings, pretending I wasn't already scripting the finale. That evening, when she surrendered to sleep with her spine to me, I infiltrated her device. No security barriers existed. That was the ultimate insult. She no longer bothered concealing anything. Messages from Chase. "Desperate to see you again tonight. You taste like champagne and danger. Don't let Kyle poison your thoughts. He's too conventional to comprehend you." And the final blow. "After tomorrow, you'll never need to deceive again." My hands trembled. I didn't experience rage. Not yet. I felt reality shift. That instant when gravity transforms. My wife, the woman around whom I'd constructed my entire existence, was betraying me, and she was orchestrating my replacement. Not abandonment, replacement. The following day marked our true anniversary. I remained silent. I prepared her breakfast as always, presented the necklace she'd been coveting, and observed her fabricated joy. She mentioned an evening meeting and suggested I relax, perhaps watch the game. I kissed her forehead and told her she appeared luminous. She departed at 6:42 p.m. By 7 p.m., she had reached the Fairmont Hotel. By 7:10, they were in room 805. By 7:20, I was observing the live transmission on my laptop because I'd commissioned a private investigator to install surveillance inside a custom gift package disguised as designer perfume and vanity. I didn't weep. I didn't rage. I sat there in my study, hands clasped, watching the woman I'd sworn to protect obliterate my heart without hesitation. She moaned another man's name while wearing the bracelet I'd gifted her, and yet I smiled because I wasn't going to battle for her. I was going to annihilate her. The morning after she returned home, acting as though nothing had transpired, she wore that identical smug expression she always displayed after securing victory. She kissed my cheek as I consumed coffee, as if she hadn't just decimated my universe the previous night. I permitted it, allowed her to sit across from me at the table, scrolling through Instagram like she remained someone's wife instead of someone's destruction awaiting activation. "Kyle, I require your card today. The accounts are malfunctioning," she stated casually. "My keys rest on the counter," I responded, not even glancing up. That was her revelation right there. No hesitation, no remorse, not even the dignity to appear suspicious. She believed I was blind, she believed I was powerless. But I was already 3 moves ahead. While she drove away in my vehicle to rendezvous with her lover again, I was meeting with my attorney and a forensic accountant. I had prepared for this moment more thoroughly than she could ever fathom. Over the past 6 months, I'd silently transferred business accounts, rerouted investments, and isolated joint assets. I'd sensed something was wrong for a while, but I never imagined she'd be this brazen. Now I wasn't just a husband, I was a man with a mission. By noon, the documents were being drafted. By 3 p.m., her company had been notified that I was launching an audit because she had used my seed capital to construct her boutique empire. The name on those documents? Mine. The accounts? Also mine. Everything she built, every influencer photo shoot, every fake smile on her press page, funded by me. And now I was removing every pin from the grenade she didn't even realize was counting down. At 5:30 p.m. she called me. "Darling, can you believe my accounts are frozen? Chase says it's probably a banking glitch. Can you contact our guy?" "Certainly," I said. "I'll handle it." She had no idea I was the glitch. That evening, I grilled steak for dinner, performed the devoted husband again. She discussed a potential Miami trip. I nodded, smiled, poured her favorite wine. She had no idea the noose was already around her empire's neck, and I was simply tightening it gradually. Then she said it. "I'm considering taking some personal time, maybe do a solo trip next week. Just need space to breathe, you understand?" I leaned back, looked her directly in the eyes and said, "You're free to breathe wherever you desire. I just hope Chase has a couch." She froze for half a second, a flicker, then the mask returned. "What's that supposed to imply?" "Nothing," I shrugged. "Enjoy your trip." She didn't know that while she'd be absent, the locks would be changed, the credit cards destroyed, and every illusion she'd ever constructed would be exposed. She chose to depart on our anniversary. I ensured she'd never find the path back. 2 days after that dinner, she packed a small suitcase and left with a fake smile and a breezy, "I'll text you when I arrive." She never stated her destination, just that she needed air. Her code for another weekend with Chase, and I wasn't going to prevent her. The moment the front door clicked shut behind her, I initiated my plan. First, the locksmith. While she was en route to whatever 5-star hideaway Chase had reserved on my funds, I had the house rekeyed. Not just the front door. Everything. Garage, back entrance, digital patio locks, all of it. She wouldn't gain entry again without a battering ram. Next, I contacted my credit bureau connection. Within 1 hour, every shared card was frozen. I allowed her to swipe her Amex at a rooftop bar twice, then terminated the card. She'd be forced to split the bill with the same man who whispered eternities into her ear while helping her demolish everything we built. Good luck with that. Then I made one more call to her mother. I didn't elaborate, just mentioned you should know your daughter's out of town with someone who isn't her husband. Hope she mentions it at brunch. That was the nuclear option. Her mother never liked me, but she despised being deceived even more. That little phone call would spread like wildfire across the family group chat. By midnight, my phone was exploding. Texts from her cousins, from her sister Rachel, even from her best friend April asking, "Is it true?" I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Let her feel the weight of silence for once. Around 3 p.m. I saw it, an incoming call from her. Decline. She called again. Decline. Then came the texts. "Kyle, what the hell did you do? Why is everything frozen? Why is my mom calling me screaming? Are you serious right now?" And finally, the one that made me laugh out loud in my dark, quiet kitchen. "You're being immature. We can talk about this when I'm back." Immature? She destroyed a marriage and called me immature for catching her. I powered off my phone. The next morning, I had her belongings boxed and delivered to her sister's house. Every shoe, every dress, every piece of jewelry I'd gifted her, gone. I even included a handwritten note. "For your next performance, break a leg." I wasn't just severing ties. I was erasing her. By noon, my lawyer emailed her official separation documents and a copy of the prenup she had once boasted about not needing. She had laughed when she signed it. Let's see if she's laughing now. She wanted freedom. I gave it to her in chains. By the time she stepped off her return flight, everything she thought she controlled had already slipped through her perfectly manicured fingers. Her Uber wouldn't accept her card. Her business email had over 50 unread messages, all from vendors and clients panicking about financial discrepancies. And when she pulled into the driveway in someone else's car, she discovered her key no longer functioned. She stood there pounding on the door like a stranger. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched from my upstairs office window, sipping coffee, as the woman who once thought she ruled everything realized she didn't even have access to her own castle anymore. I let her scream for 15 minutes, then she stopped, stared at her phone, and looked up at the house like she expected cameras to emerge and yell, "Prank." But this wasn't a prank. This was precision. This was war, and she had fired the first shot when she chose a hotel bed over a home. She tried calling. I muted it. Then she sat on the front steps like a child who missed curfew. I descended after 20 minutes and opened the door just a crack. "Where are my belongings?" she demanded, eyes blazing. "Ask Rachel," I replied. Her jaw dropped. "You invaded my phone? That's illegal." "You betrayed our marriage," Yanai said. "That's treachery." "I didn't cheat," she snapped. "I explored my needs." I laughed. I actually laughed, and it felt liberating. Is that what they're calling it now? Exploring needs on hotel sheets? Her expression shifted from anger to desperation. "Let's just talk inside." "Talk about what?" I asked. "How long it's been occurring, whether you ever loved me, whether Chase knows the money you used to impress him was mine." That last one struck her hard. She flinched like I'd slapped her. "I want to fix this," she said softly, attempting to touch my hand. I stepped back. "You're not here to fix anything. You're here because everything you thought you had just collapsed." And then I delivered the final blow. "I'm going public." Her eyes widened. "What? Your investors? Your business partners? They'll all receive a detailed report of your financial activities, including the misuse of our joint accounts. You see, sweetheart, your empire wasn't built on vision, it was built on me." She looked like she couldn't breathe. "You wouldn't," she whispered. "I already did." That's when she cracked, right there on the doorstep. Designer heels, flawless makeup, and a collapsing world behind her eyes. She tried begging, pleading, even blaming me for not being enough lately, but it was over. I closed the door on her tears the same way she closed her heart on our marriage. She chose to walk away. Now I was making sure there was nothing left to return to. The next morning, my inbox was a battlefield. Her legal team had already reached out, scrambling, threatening, trying to intimidate me back into silence. They cited privacy. They cited reputation. One even had the audacity to say my actions were spiteful. I forwarded everything to my attorney with a one-line message: "Proceed." Her lawyer didn't know the half of it. Didn't know she'd siphoned over $80,000 from our shared business to fund her independent lifestyle. Didn't know that I had audio of her bragging to Chase about how I funded her freedom. Didn't know about the prenup clause that voided any claims to our assets in the event of adultery. A clause she insisted on signing because we're different. She was right. We were. By noon, her boutique brand's Instagram was flooded with hate comments. Someone had leaked screenshots of her texts with Chase. I won't say who. Suddenly, the woman who once styled herself as an empowerment figure for women was being exposed for manipulating her marriage to fund her fake image. Her team shut the page down by 3 p.m. At 5 p.m., I got a call from her former assistant, a girl named Leah, barely 24, smart, sharp, underpaid, and clearly fed up. She used her money to fly him to Paris. Leah told me to book it under branding consultation. I still have the receipts. That was all I needed. The next day, I filed a lawsuit, one aimed directly at her company's misappropriation of joint marital funds. It wasn't about the money anymore. I didn't need it. I wanted her exposed. I wanted every carefully curated lie she built to catch fire in front of her followers, her fans, and most importantly, her ego. And that's exactly what happened. Articles started appearing. Empowerment icon accused of misusing funds from ex-husband's company. Private drama, public collapse, how one influencer's marriage unraveled her empire. She went silent on social media. Chase deleted his accounts. And me? I slept for the first time in weeks, until one night, 3 days later, she showed up again. This time in sweatpants, no makeup, no entourage, no plan. I didn't let her in. "Kyle," she pleaded, "you don't understand what this is doing to me." "Do you remember what you did to me?" She broke down again on the same steps, just like before. "I messed up. I was stupid. I lost everything." I stared at her for a long time. "No," I said, voice low and calm. "You gave it away one lie at a time." She begged me not to go through with the lawsuit. I told her it was already filed. I'd given her more chances than she deserved. Now it was justice, not revenge. She once built a brand on the illusion of strength. Now she'd have to rebuild her life from the ruins of her own betrayal. I didn't think I'd feel peace watching someone I once loved completely unravel, but I did. It wasn't satisfying like in the movies. No slow clap, no fireworks, just silence. Heavy, cold, satisfying silence. She didn't show up again after that last night on the doorstep. Maybe someone finally told her the truth, that I wasn't bluffing, that her tears didn't mean a damn thing anymore, that the man she thought would always stay had finally chosen to let go. It's wild how fast people scatter when the mask comes off. Her business partners all backed out within days the moment the financial misconduct allegations became public knowledge. No one wanted to be associated with her brand. Contracts were voided, sponsors vanished, even her photographer, the one. She flew out to Italy with last year just for the vibe, publicly distanced himself. Suddenly no one was rooting for her healing. Everyone was just pretending they'd never seen her smile. I saw a video of her on some small influencer's podcast trying to clear her name. It was sad, pathetic. She talked about how marriage is a prison and how women are expected to be perfect. She never mentioned the cheating, never mentioned Chase. She looked tired, worn down, not the polished queen she pretended to be. The comment section was brutal. "Weren't you the one who said build your own empire? Guess Kyle owned the land." "She's not sorry, she's just broke." I didn't comment, didn't repost, didn't celebrate. That wasn't the point anymore. I had already won. But here's what people don't talk about. The quiet after all the war. After the smoke clears, you don't feel joy. You feel nothing. And then, slowly, peace starts to seep in. You realize you're not checking your phone in fear. You're not reading between every line she says. You're not fighting to prove your worth to someone who treats love like a tool. I redecorated the house, repainted the walls, got a new couch, new dishes, threw away the wine glasses we used to toast with. There's nothing left here that reminds me of her. She texted me once last week, just 2 words. "I'm sorry." I stared at it for a while. Then I deleted it. No response, no closure. No need. Let her sit in the silence she once forced on me. Let her talk to the ghosts of her own choices. She used to say I'd never survive without her. Turns out I was only drowning because she was the weight around my ankles. 2 weeks passed, then 3. No more texts, no more doorstep performances. Just that one, "I'm sorry." Weak, late, and empty. I figured she'd finally accepted the reality she built, that she was done playing victim in the story where she was always the villain. But of course I gave her too much credit. On the 25th day since she walked out, I got an email from a new address. The subject line, "One last talk." I opened it. It wasn't long. "Kyle, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve that, but I can't sleep. I can't eat. I keep thinking about everything I threw away. If you could give me 10 minutes, just 10, I won't ask again. Haley." I stared at the screen for a long time. Funny. She never had trouble sleeping when she was lying next to me while texting Chase from the bathroom. Never had trouble eating when she used my money to order $400 dinners on girls' trips that ended in hotel beds with someone else. But now that her world had crumbled and I'd walked away, now she couldn't sleep. I closed the laptop. That night I went out for dinner with someone new. Her name's Danielle. She's calm. She listens. She doesn't talk to me like I'm a burden to be tolerated or a tool to be used. We're not anything serious yet, just 2 people healing in the same room. But when she laughs, it doesn't feel like mockery. It feels like freedom. After dinner, I got home, poured myself a drink, and sat on the back porch. The air was cool, the kind of silence I used to beg for when Haley was around. Not because she talked too much, but because every word felt like a performance. Then my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Haley, it was her sister Rachel. She's staying with me. She's not okay. She cries herself to sleep. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying it because she's broken. Just thought you should know. I read it twice, then again, but I felt nothing.